Hello everyone, we are checking out Star Wars Jedi Survivor. It is April 29th on a Saturday morning. Hope everyone is doing well for the weekend. Well, the beginning of the weekend, if you didn't start Friday, that is. Anyways, we are checking out the Ultrawide PC port of Star Wars. I did not purchase this game. This game is I'm playing the game through EA Play Pro, so it's $15 a month, of course. If you don't want to spend a big $70 on this game, especially if it's not performing well, which I've been hearing a lot of recently. I haven't seen actually not one good video on the PC port, no matter which parts they're using, including the consoles. I think from what I've researched so far, the PS5 is actually the most playable out of the console ports, including the PC. But it still has its own fair share of issues. This is not a Digital Foundry video, obviously. This is a showcase of the performance on an ultra-wide resolution with the 4090 and the 13700K paired. From average consumer perspective, I do not go into all the nits and grits that you want to get it, like you know, we Digital Foundry fans would like to get into, and including myself, obviously. I'm a Digital Foundry fan. Big shout out to them. But yeah, let's get into it. So this is, as you can see, the performance on the left hand side. This is the second world, but only reason why I'm showing the second world because it's really like, I would like you guys to like visit like you're actually in Star Wars. I'd like you guys to actually pretty much enjoy the first world whenever you guys decide to jump into this game. It's a really cool looking city, and yeah, that's not going to be on this video. But I can honestly say that, at least from my experience, the first world and the second world is not big of a difference in performance, just because it's a city. The frames you're going to see here is pretty much the same frames that you will be seeing in the first world if you have the same, at least with my experience, with the same parts, PC specs. So anyways, let's get into it. Everything's on max right now. On Epic. I purposely turned, keep in mind, OBS is taking at least 5 frames from me after turning it on and off, so I am recording in OBS, and that does take performance away from any game you're playing, really. On average, roughly, depending on the game's specs. So, let's see, we have Fidelity FX Super. Alright, so FSR is 2 is pretty much off right now. And you can see I left it off for now, so you can see my GPU utilization. So you see HDR is on. Thankfully, I heard that the HDR wasn't even an option on the console version before launch from reviewers, but thankfully it is here. And by the way, HDR is actually pretty good on a PC compared to the first game on a PC, Fallen Order. For some reason, the game supported HDR, but it was very dry color palette compared to this. This is like perfect on this game, especially in the first world in a city that I'm not going to say the name of. Yeah, you can see my resolution up there, 3440 by 1440p, windowed full screen. This is running on a Windows 11, not Windows 10. I don't know if that does anything to for anyone, honestly, but being that there's a lot of reports of the really messed up PC port that I haven't really been experienced, I just felt the need to put it out there. This port is not by any means perfect to me, obviously not. My memory usage, and it's a 1440p ultra wide, which is in between a regular 1440p resolution and a 4K resolution, so it's in between, and 14 gigs, almost 15 gigs of VRAM being used right now in this area. Something's telling me in my guts that it shouldn't be that high, but you know, every game has its own tech, and who knows if it's right or wrong, but it's something definitely wrong with this port. I haven't been seeing the worst of it, thankfully, because I average around 70 to 100 frames so far from what I played. Keep in mind again, my OBS is on, so you're gonna see right now in the 60s, the high 60s pretty much in this area. But anyways, you see my GPU utilization is at 97%. It stays in the 90s for the most part without FSR on. Very low CPU usage. Now, is that a good or bad thing? I really don't know. But the CPU is only undervolted. I forgot to actually mention the CPU is undervolted to -30. And that's the only thing I did to my CPU. I didn't do anything else besides, oh yeah, limiting the thermals to 90 degrees, because I don't like it jumping over that much, especially when I was stress testing it too. But yeah, whether it limits some power or not, I don't know. All I know is I undervolted it and did a Cinebench, and it got a better score than it being stock without being undervolted pretty much. So yeah. All right, so you see here, let's put on FSR. Now, I've seen some people say FSR actually makes it worse. The performance for me is actually making it better, but again, it's based on your resolution, whatever GPU and CPU you have paired. I don't know, but when I put it on quality, you see it jumped up now. Now it's in the high 80s, mid to high 80s. But when I have it on, it's so long to go to the freaking option. When I turn it off, now it's in low 70s, high 60s. So FSR is clearly working, and it, so far, in my opinion, doesn't look bad. As bad as I thought it would, in my experience with FSR 2. Yeah, I'd rather still prefer DLSS, of course, but who knows? That may be a mod coming later down the line, or a patch. Who the hell knows? But it's clearly a FSR game. Probably sponsored by AMD. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, FSR 2 is working, and it doesn't look a big difference from native 1440p to me. The utilization of FSR actually it decreased my GPU usage. As you can see, it's in the low 90s now. Before it was in the mid to high 90s, but it's not by much, and it's not nowhere near bottlenecked at the moment. Where obviously my CPU would be higher than my GPU, which is pretty bad if you're experiencing that. But anyways, let's try out another option, shall we? Let's turn ray tracing off, because I have that on, and we were averaging around, before I do that, you see right now we are averaging around 86 FPS. Let's turn ray tracing off and see what we get after. Alright, so now we're like low hundreds, high 90s. So from 85, 86 FPS to high 90s to 100, that's pretty significant jump. But now you see my GPU utilization. Well, GPU utilization is still low 90s, so it's not bad. And the CPU stayed at the same, around the 30s. So yeah, it's not bad at all. The memory usage went down as well. It's no longer 14 gigs. No, it's around 12 to 13 gigs. But yeah, it's let's move around. I'm showcasing everything, but I had to stay still in that same area just so you can see the difference in FPS when I change the frames. There was a big Yeti over there. So yeah, the game is highly playable in my case with no stutters. Only stuttering happens is when I actually go into a whole new area. So that doesn't happen that often. But the game looks gorgeous. I mean, really enjoying the gameplay. I don't know what's the special case for my pair, because I've heard my hardware, because I know that other GPU, other YouTubers with 4090s are suffering from much worse performance, whether it's on 4K or 1440p. I don't know what's the difference between my GPU and CPU pair compared to the others, and I am using DDR5 RAM. It is 32 gigs of DDR5 at 6,000 megahertz. No, I think 6,200. Yeah, 6,200 megahertz. So it's a really beefy computer. I understand I should be getting a lot more than what I'm seeing FPS, and so obviously I know that the PC port for this game is not working perfectly for me either, but it's definitely highly playable. I'm gonna say for odd reasons, because again, I'm looking at the videos and I'm seeing the performance, and what they say about the performance is really crazy what they're getting. And I have a Zotac 4090 card, and it's not, along with the 13700K, that's slightly undervolted on Windows 11. It's a very beefy computer. Again, no, I know I'm supposed to get more than what I am getting, but still, it is odd that they're getting much worse performance, a lot of YouTubers, than what I'm seeing. That's pretty much it. I didn't want to go too far into it. Like I said, I would like to show you more of the area, but when I tried streaming it yesterday, it takes a little while when I toggle it back on. It pretty much was showing a black screen for my stream, so I didn't know what was going on. But I do have more footage I can show you guys, I guess, without any commentary. So yeah, that's it for me right now. I took off film grain. I don't like that chromatic aberration. Yeah, everything else is fine, man. Motion blur, I checked it on and off. I mean, it's third-person adventure game. I really don't care for that. Unless it's FPS, I turn it off. But everything else was fine. It's like damn near nearly perfect when it comes to the settings that's supposed to work, that is. But yeah, the performance hit and the usage on my hardware, I know for a fact it's underwhelming when it comes to what it's supposed to do. But so far, my underwhelming at least is playable for me. Way above 60s on the highest settings. So I'm not complaining. But I figured I'd get this out there to you guys, and hopefully I get some feedback as to why. Because I don't understand the biggest difference in hardware from the videos I've seen and why they're getting worse performance. But then again, there's not too many ultrawide is higher than 1440p, so I don't know why. It's weird. Anyways, comment below, let me know, and I'll just play out the rest of the footage for you guys, and so you can see more of the gameplay besides this one area. Take care. Catch you guys next time. Thank you.
Throw it.
Lowering expectations.
Now.
Move in. I am programmed to kill this. Marking portable fire.